Hey. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I listed all my socials in the description box below. Y'all, I apologize in advance. I know this is my third setting so far, but I was on vacation for the 4th of July weekend, so I was like, you know, what better time to record a video and get something uploaded. So I was like, I'm gonna set up my camera and we're gonna get to it. Now, apologies in advance too. I'm also fighting a cold. I've been sick for like a week, so I'm just now finally getting it out, but I still sound a little nasally just because. Now, based on the title of this video, this is a story time about my FanDuel date, I guess I want to call it. It wasn't a okay, we'll get into it. Like I said, I don't know what I'm going to title it yet, but anyway, let's jump right in. Now, this story takes place, I want to say this was a few years ago. Like, this was like 2021, like winter time 2021. Now, y'all ever heard that saying, like, let me know if y'all know, but y'all know that saying when people be like, oh, don't give that guy a chance, that's always basically the guy that be talking to himself in your DMs, and it'd be like, don't give him a chance after years and years and years of like dubbing him, and then you give him a chance, and then he tells you and he basically teaches you why you shouldn't have gave him one. Y'all, so this is a story time about that. So we'll name him, it's not really a big deal, we'll just name him, y'all, I don't even know what to name this man. We could just name him Shorty. We'll name him Shorty. That's gonna be his name, Shorty. All right, so Shorty and I, we met probably like on Instagram. I want to say this had to be like maybe around like 2019 or so. And, you know, we texted a little bit, you know, not even texted, y'all. I'm lying. We wasn't even texting. We was on Instagram. So we was just exchanging DMs and shit back and forth for a little while, if I'm not mistaken, like for a little bit. Yeah, so we was sending each other messages and stuff back and forth, you know, for a little bit. But it was always just like, he seemed cool because it was one of those, like, you know, starting the DMs, y'all talk for a little bit, but the conversation never really went anywhere. It was more so just like a catching a vibe, but I feel like the more I got to know him and shit, I wasn't really super into him. And then, like, I could tell by his pictures that he was short. Now, y'all, I don't have nothing against short men. I am short. I'm only 4'11", but it's also like, I don't want nobody that's 6'4", but I also don't want nobody that's 5'2", 5'3", like, I don't know. I know when I put on heels, we was the same height, and I don't like that. Like, I need to be able to look up at you barefoot, heels on, sneakers. I don't know, that's just my preference. So I knew it wasn't really gonna go anywhere, but like I said, again, he was cool enough. Now, he let me think. Yeah, so we was DMing back and forth, like I said, for a little bit, but I knew I didn't have no real interest in him. Like, we was getting to know each other. I know he said he worked as like he was like a nurse. Like, I want to say he worked in like maybe in like an adult living facility or whatever, as like a, I don't know, what are they called? We'll just go with nurse. So he was there working there, and then he, you know, we're getting to know each other. So I'm like, oh, you know, what do you do? He's like, do you drive? You know, what's this, what's that? So I'm like, okay, yeah, like, you know, I drive, do you drive? So he was like, yeah, you know, what you drive? And I feel like back in 2021, February of 2021, I had just got into a car accident. I want to say December. So I think I had just got the car I have now. I think I had just got it probably somewhere like 2 weeks after. I'm lying. When we was getting to know each other, like I said, 2019, 2020, I was driving like an older Toyota Camry. So that's what I had. So I asked him the same question, y'all. And the only reason I'm saying this is because it is very important later on in the story time. So I'm like, you know, what do you drive? Now, y'all, I don't know cars like that. Like I said, based on my last video, I don't know the difference between XYZ, ABC. But I know he said he drove like an Audi type SUV. So I don't really know if those was like an AQ. Don't give me the line. But that's what he told me he drove. He told me he drove like a 2015. And at this point, we are, like I said, in 2019. This is like, yeah, before COVID, yes. So that's what he told me he drove. So I'm like, okay, again, not a big deal. We were just having a conversation. Now, I want to say I was dating someone around that time. It was a little bit more serious, so I wasn't really, like I said, interested in him like that anyway. And like I said, based on his pictures, I wasn't really trying to go too far, like I said, based on his height. Now, I never really asked him how tall he was because I feel like that's kind of rude. I don't know why. I feel like that's rude. So I was like, I'm not going to ask him, you know, how tall he is. But I could just tell. Y'all know y'all could tell, especially when they have pictures with their friends and stuff. And you can see how shorter they are compared to their friends. So I was just like, yeah, no. So what happened? So he, like I said, I was dating somebody else. So like, let's fast forward to leading up to the date. So this was like around 2021. Like I said, now we still followed each other on Instagram. We never hung out. We never dated. He lives in Philly. I don't know if he still lives there. But back then, he lived in Philly. I live about an hour. I'm in PA, but I live like an hour away from Philly. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, like I said, so we followed each other. He would like respond to certain stories. You know, I would too. But, you know, nothing never really went anywhere. Now, I want to say when I had like stopped dating whoever I was dating at that time. Once we stopped dating, he had, actually, I have a story time about him too. That's another time. But when I stopped dating him or whatever, I was kind of just like around, you know, like I don't really like the winter, even though my birthday's in the winter. I'm not a winter baby, y'all. So I don't know. It was like one day I was getting off work. This was like, I want to say it was like January. It had to be like maybe 2 weeks or so after my birthday. And I was just like, I want to, you know, girls, don't judge, but y'all know when y'all just get into a mood where y'all just like, I just want to have dinner. I want to get cute and I don't want to spend my own money. Don't sue me. But yeah, I feel like that's the type of timing I was on. Like I wasn't dealing with him no more. I wasn't really talking to anybody. I had went to work. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go on a date. Like I want to have something to do. Now I'm sitting here thinking like, who can I hit up? Like who gonna want to really take me out? Y'all, I'm going through my messages and stuff. Like I said, we never texted. So I just happened to be on Instagram and he had posted something on his story. So I responded to it and I was like, oh, hey, you know, what you doing? I think, y'all, I honestly want to say this had to be like maybe a Thursday. It was like I think it was like a Thursday because I think we ended up going out like a Friday night. Yeah, because I think I had to come home and get ready. So Thursday, I hit him up and I'm like, oh, what you doing this weekend? And he was like, oh, nothing. Like, what's up with you? I'm like, oh, I was thinking, you know, we should get together and go out. Like, now mind y'all, pause. Leading up, like from 2019 to this point, 2021, he would be in my messages like, so when you gonna link me? So when you gonna let me take you out? So when this? And I was just like, either not responding or I'd be like, oh, you know, I be busy. Y'all know. I be busy. Oh, I be having stuff to do. So I'm not really like super available. And now it's like, yeah, now you want to go out. Now you available. But whatever. So again, leading up to this point, he was like, yeah, you know, damn, you finally, you know, take me up on my offer. And I'm like, yeah, so, you know, we should get together, you know, what you want to do. So he was like, well, I'll come out there to you. So I'm like, okay, bet. He was like, where you want to go? And I'm like, well, we can go to, it was this restaurant called The Bayou. It's like out near me or whatever. So I was like, yeah, we could go there. I was like, I can make reservations and stuff. So he was like, okay, cool. So y'all, he was like, when you want to go? I was like, we could go tomorrow night, Friday. I forgot. I think I was working a half day or something. Yeah, because I went to my brother's house later that day. So I think I was working a half day and then went to my brother's house. And then I was going to be going home to change to link up with him. So, you know, y'all, day of the date comes. It's Friday. I'm telling my brother. My brother's like, he's like, who is this nigga? And I'm like, he's cool, you know, from what I could tell. He's cool, y'all, from what I could tell. So he's like, okay, you know, just be careful and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, he's cool. Like, he's just a vibe. Like, you know, whatever. We just want to see what happens. Because, again, you know, even though somebody might not be your type, you never know. You might, you know, like them. But this was not the case. So, anyway, he, like I said, leading up to the date, now I get home, I'm changing, whatever. I'm on FaceTime with my best friend. So she's like, oh, you know, we're just talking, like, what you gonna wear? What you gonna do this? What's this, that, and the third? So I never really asked him, like, what he was gonna wear because I felt like when I told him the restaurant, I sent him the restaurant. I sent him the menu. And he was like, okay, that place looks cool. You can make the reservations for there. I feel like when you look at, y'all know, okay, comment down below and let me know if I'm crazy. When y'all go to restaurants and stuff, right? And your friends send you the links, and I know I'm not the only one who looks at the menu before I go somewhere. You can kind of tell the ambiance and the vibe of the restaurant before you get there. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I'm not saying you got to dress in like ball gown fancy, but y'all get where I'm going with this. Like, you gotta look somewhat decent, right? I don't know. So I sent him that. He said everything was cool. So my best friend was like, okay, what you wearing? And y'all, I think I had wore like some regular jeans, some black suede knee-high boots. If I could find a picture of it, and I think I got a picture like next to that nigga's car too. I'm gonna send it to y'all. I'm gonna post it. But yeah, I had on some like black knee-high boots, some jeans. I had on like a turtleneck, a necklace. I had like a fur vest on with like a little purse, and I had my hair braided or something like that. Nothing too crazy, but dressy enough. So that was my plan. So then, I'm reaching out to him. At this point, it was maybe like 7:30, and I think we had made the reservations for like 8:30. So I was like, yeah, where you at? He was like, oh yeah, I'm like 20-30 minutes away. I'm like, okay, cool. Now y'all, where I live at, I don't let anybody know where I live at on the first link, because that's dangerous. So we had I had him up, and I told him to meet me at like the leasing office of my apartments. So he was like, okay, cool. So I met him over there. So I go over there first because I want to see him pull in. I want to see, I need to be aware. So, and I'd rather see you before you see me rather than vice versa. So I pull up, and then I pull into a spot, whatever, and I'm just waiting. Like maybe 5 or so minutes goes by. Cars are coming in like to the complex. I'm like, oh, was that him? Because mind y'all, I'm looking for the Audi. Remember that he told me he drove. Now, granted, I know some of y'all be like, Ayanna, he could have got a different car. Right. So I wasn't really sure, but that's what I was pretty much looking for. I saw an Audi car drive by. I saw a Benz. I saw like a Toyota. I saw different stuff. And then this truck pulls in. And it's like, when I say truck, it was like a Suburban. But I think it was a Ford, y'all. I don't even know, because like I said, I don't know cars like that, man. Just Chevrolet. Just put your mind, and I'm gonna try to put a picture somewhere here if I can find one. But this is what he pulled in. Like, this is what pulled into the lot. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, oh, this not him. This not him, y'all. It was him. So he pulls in, and he pulls in like how the leasing lot was. It was only like a row right here, and then driving room, and then a row right here. So I backed into the row like closer to the leasing office. So he pulled in, and he pulled in straight ahead in front of me. So like I can see his back license plate basically. So I'm like, oh, I texted him, and then I'm like, oh, you here? He was like, yeah, I'm here. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he was like, yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I'm right here. I'm getting out the car. So he was like, okay. So I get out or whatever. I'm walking over, y'all. I see the passenger side. I see the driver's side door open, y'all, and he pretty much like hopped out of the car, like, because like I said, y'all, if y'all see the picture I'm posting, I told y'all his pictures, he did not look that tall. Y'all, he hops down, and I don't know, it gave me the ick, y'all. It gave me the ick. I was like, ew, like what? So he hops down, and I'm like, okay. He walks over, like he like hugs me, but again, y'all, I have on heels. Y'all, this man had to be like this much shorter than me. I mean, yeah, like I'm saying tall enough. It was like this much shorter than me, and I was just like, oh my God, like I know this going nowhere. Oh well. So he walks over to the passenger side, and he opens the door for me. I'm like, oh, okay, that was nice. I get in, and I'm just looking like, mind you, y'all, again, don't know cars, but again, this was like 2021. I swear to God, this car was like a 2006. 2007, because you could tell when you get in how it had like the digital type analog clock, but like not like CarPlay. And I know y'all probably like, Ayanna, you sound bougie. I'm not. This is just an observation, because I'm telling y'all the story of what I noticed from what he said. Right. So, and this is what makes it worse. So I'll just act out of conversation. I'm like, oh, okay. Mind you, it was a little cold, but I wasn't like that cold, because like I said, I had the long sleeve turtleneck on. I had the fur vest, so I was cool. So he pulls off, I put in the address, and we start making our way. So out of conversation, I'm like, oh, what happened to the Audi? Y'all, this man gaslit me. He was like, what Audi? I'm like, oh, remember when we first started, like, on Instagram, we first started DMing or whatever, way back when, you told me you drove an Audi. He was like, I never told you that. Who told me that then? What did I just name him? I don't even know that. Shorty, who told me that? You told me. I was like, you know what? Don't even matter. We here. But strike one. Because it would have been different if you was like, oh, I got into an accident. Oh, my brother driving it. Oh, it's in the shop. You said I never told you that. Okay. Whatever. Moving on. So we driving. We get to know each other. And I'm saying getting to know each other, y'all. I don't really mean like I was interested in getting to know him, but you know, we just talking like how you been, what you been up to, da da da. And he was like, you know what, here, you could play some music. Now, if you know me, you know, I listen to a variety of different things. I love Tinks and Summer Walkers and Anne Marie and Janae. I love all of them. But then I also like EST, Polo G, Osama, what's his name? Zay Osama, I think I like him now. It's a couple of different rappers like I go back and forth with. So me being in the car with a man and he's like, oh, you can play your music. I don't usually always play like my lover girl stuff just because I feel like they're not super interested in that. So I'll try to play something that I know that I like that they can rock with too. And everybody loves Dirk, you know, certain stuff like that. So I'll probably put on like a Dirk or a Polo G, whoever I was listening to a lot back then. I probably put on one of their songs. So we was vibing. So he was like, oh, you know, this is what you like, da 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 da, you a hood rat. How am I a hood rat because I'm listening to something that you, nigga, you know the song too. Like, I wish I could have told y'all the song I was playing, but either way, like, nigga, you know the song too. And so I'm like, all right, whatever. Now, we get in there, like I said, and he's just like, well, how you been? I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, I've been working, you know, da-da-da, da-da-da. And, y'all, skirt, hold on, flag on the play. I didn't even tell y'all what this man was wearing when he hopped his little ass out that car. So I'm looking, y'all, I told y'all what I had on. This man had on black Air Force y'all. He had on black Air Force Ones. He had on like these black and gray faded looking jeans, right? But they had holes, y'all, like big holes in each knee. Then he had on like the Nike Tech zip up, and I remember this so clearly, like, oh my god, he had a black Nike Tech zip up, but it had like little small, if you smoke, you know, little small burn holes. Like, I have like a North Face like that, like a North Face fleece like that, but I literally only wear it in the wintertime when I'm smoking. Only time. So he had like the little burn holes in it. He didn't have like a nice haircut. Like, I don't know, like, I get it, it's Thursday, I asked you what you was doing, whatever, but I asked you what you was doing like Thursday evening. You could have went and got a haircut Friday. You could have went and got a, I don't know, like, I don't know. Or you could have, maybe the haircut looked worse because the outfit looked bad. I don't know. But again, ick from that, ick from hopping down, ick from lying about the car. I was just like, I wanted, whatever. But that's what he had on. So we get to the restaurant. Like I said, we get to the restaurant. It's like maybe 30 minutes away. He parks in like the lot across the street. So, you know, we get out. I had him take a picture of me. Like I said, yeah, I had him take a picture. And we start walking to the into the restaurant. So we get inside, and you know, the waitress, you know, greets us, and she's like, you know, how are you? Da, da, da. Just two. We're like, yeah. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna lead you to your table. So y'all, leads us to the table, and he was like, oh, he notices that there's TVs in there. He was like, oh, can we sit right here so I could see the TV? So she was like, oh yeah, sure. But the way she looked at me was like, girl, and I was like, whatever, not a big deal, you know, not a big deal. I like to go to certain restaurants. I sit at the bar sometimes. I like to watch the games, have a little drink. Like, I understand. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna think too much of it, y'all. So we sit down. So like, he's sitting across from me. So I'm sitting here, he's facing the door. I'm sitting here. If you know, you know. Girls, when you go on dates, make sure he sits facing the door for your safety. But yeah, so he's sitting across from me, and the TV is like here. So he has to look up, like we're both looking up at the TV. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly what was on. I had to look it up before I started recording this video. It was the conference championships, I guess, for the NFL. And I believe the Chiefs were playing the Bills, and I forget, the Buccaneers were playing somebody. But that's what was on. So we're sitting there, and she said, okay, here's your menu, you know, can I start you off? Like, the waitress comes, she's like, you know, can I start you off with some drinks or whatever? So I got, like, I forget what I got. I probably got like a Mai Tai or a Long Island, something like that. And then he got, actually, no, y'all. He didn't even get a drink the first time. Like, I got a drink, but he didn't get a drink. So keep that in mind too. So I was like, okay. And then, you know, we're sitting there. So he said, what are you going to get to eat? So I was like, I don't know. Like, he's like, well, you've been here before. I was like, yeah, but usually, y'all, I get like chicken and waffles from there. They have like shrimp and grits. They have like a lot of different stuff. But I wanted something different. Like, it was dinner time. I usually go there for brunch or like afternoon time. I think I went there for dinner one time for a friend's birthday. But yeah. So I think I wanted like some salmon sliders, right? Now, y'all, I don't eat pork. No swine. That's not my thing.
But I don't eat no damn swine.
Now, he was asking me what I was going to eat. I told him the salmon siders, right? So he was like, I think I'm going to get this bacon cheeseburger. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, I don't eat bacon. And he was like, oh, why not? And I told him why. I was like, I don't eat pork for reasons. I don't eat pork. So he's like, okay, well, he was like, are you going to feel some type of way if I get it? And I'm like, well, and again, y'all, to each his own. I personally feel like out of respect, if you're going with someone on a date, right, you've been asking to take them on a date, you're vibing with them, and at this point it's like, I don't know, like, did you show up looking like that on purpose? Did you lie on purpose? Like, did you really have no real intentions of making, like, I don't know, maybe he was feeling my vibe, he felt like my vibe. I don't feel as though I was giving off like, ugh. I feel like I was just in my head, I was just like, yeah, this is not it. But yeah, so I'm like, I don't know if he was like doing stuff on purpose, but he was like, is that gonna bother you? I'm like, I don't like the smell of it, like, I don't like the isolated smell of it, like, it's on your breath. And he was just like, okay, like, so he made it seem like he was going back to the menu to keep looking. So it's like, okay. So I'm looking, you know, I'm glancing at the TV, and he's just on his phone. And I'm like, oh, what are you looking at? Should have never asked. Kiss of death. Should have never asked. He was like, oh, I'm trying to put this ticket in. I'm trying to put this ticket in. I don't remember who he was trying to put a ticket in to have like a certain amount of receiving yards. And if y'all be on FanDuel, y'all know. Certain amount of receiving yards, what would they be getting? Receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns, whatever, passing yards, all of that. He was like, oh yeah, I'm betting so-and-so to get this. I'm betting so-and-so to get this. He's like, do you be on FanDuel? And at that time, y'all, I was like, right now, I'm with FanDuel now. But back then, I probably was like getting my feet wet with it a little bit, but like not enough to really sit there and have a full-blown conversation about it. So I was like, yeah, I did when that. He was like, oh, okay, look at this, look at this. He showed me his phone. He was like, this is how much I bet, and this is how much I won. Y'all, that man, I don't remember exactly how much he betted, but the difference of the ratio and how much he bet and how much he actually won was like a $3,000 difference. So I'm like, so you lost $3,000. He was like, yeah, but I'm gonna come up. He was like, tonight I'm about to really hit a ticket for like 10 bands. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I get it, y'all, because that be me now. Like, but I don't be putting in nothing in astronomical. And I feel like back then he probably put like 4 niggas for a touchdown. And there's nothing wrong with that. They can get it, but like, you put like $100, $50 on 4 niggas to get a touchdown, and you're not even sure, and da-da-da. And long story short, them niggas didn't get it. I think he needed Mahomes to get like 4, and I'm thinking Mahomes got like, I don't even know why you would put something like that. Like, I don't know. But that's how the conversation was going. So she comes back with the drinks. We're having a good time. She's like, can I get y'all, you know, what can I get y'all? So I told her I want the salmon cider. So I'm thinking, I don't know what I thought he was going to say. Chicken, fish, beef, I don't know. He was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get this bacon cheeseburger. I forget what type it was, but I know it had bacon on it. This bacon cheeseburger with some fries. So she was like, okay, how would you like the burger cooked? So he tells her. And so she's like, okay. So I didn't say nothing. I'm like, okay. I didn't have no plans on being in your face anyway. So that's fine. So she goes away. So he was like, so as I like, y'all, in conversation, I'm like, okay, we got our drinks, the food's gonna be coming, he got the game on, he's putting his tickets. Usually, y'all, if I'm out with my friends, my mom, my boyfriend, whatever, and I have my phone and I'm trying to put a ticket in, I will put that ticket in and look at something real fast, and then like, it depends. Like me and my best friend, we just went out for brunch like last weekend. I will put in tickets, we'll show each other, we'll talk about it, we put our phones down, now we talking about other stuff. I don't feel as though sitting there the entire time talking about, like, I don't know, like LL, my last story time, he used to do that, and it used to get on my nerves because it's just like, bro, we can get the food to go and you can sit here and put as many tickets as you want. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so he was like, so as I'm in the process of asking him a question, and I'm like, oh, okay, so, you know, I forget what was I asking him. Like, was he still at that job? So I'm like, oh, are you still working at the? He was like, oh, he's looking at this. He's like, oh, I'm about to live bet this. And I don't know if Kelsey needed to get something. I don't know, but I was just like, y'all, he said it so loud that the people at the bar, because like I said, here's the TV, the bar was like right here. So you had us, a lot of tables in the middle, and then right on the other side you had the bar with the TV. The people at the bar turned around, but they were laughing because they were like, oh, okay, you know, he's into the game. And I'm like, so y'all, at this point we probably been at the restaurant a cool like half hour. So I'm sitting there like on my phone at this point because it felt awkward because it's like we're not talking about anything. Like, he's like, oh, you be betting? He was like, here, put it in the ticket. You can put it in the ticket right now. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. You know, he's like, ain't your birthday just passed? I'm like, yeah. He was like, come on, you know, treat yourself. Treat myself by putting it. And y'all, like I said, back then I wasn't betting. Now, I don't necessarily say the date would have went any differently because, like I said, I don't like anybody that sits there on their phone, period, the whole date, let alone talking about tickets and FanDuel the entire time, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just not me. It's just not me. So I don't think it would have been different. But like I said, back then I really didn't understand. Now I'll probably be a little bit more like with it, but back then no. So I was just like, no, I'm cool. He was like, oh girl, you missing out. I'm sitting here thinking like, how I'm missing out with your ass literally trying to win back. I don't know, but whatever. So she brings our food out, y'all. He's fucking this nasty ass burger. And y'all, I don't judge. Y'all eat pork, y'all eat that shit, that's cool. That's on y'all. But I feel like I didn't get like my exes or whatever to not eat pork, but they never ate it in front of me. I feel like it's out of a respect thing. That's more so what it is for me. Like, it's out of respect. If you eat pork and shit on your own time, cool. But if I'm with you, why do you have that on the menu? And I'm sorry, y'all, I keep looking at my clock because I've got to go meet my best friend, but I definitely wanted to get the story out time for y'all. So it's getting to the end anyway. So y'all, at this point, he's still sitting there. When I tell y'all, like, head down, like, in the phone, I'm just like, what the fuck? So I'm sitting there texting my best friend. I'm like, girl, I might need the SOS later. And she was like, okay, like, and y'all know SOS. Girl, call me real fast. Girl, it's an emergency. Something happened. Blah, blah, blah. You need to get here right now. And I'll be there right now. So she was like, okay, cool. So we sitting there. He's fucking this burger up. I'm eating my little sliders. I think I ate. It had like 3. I think I ate 2. Took one home. I had my French fries. He was like, oh, you like your food? Like, how is it? I'm like, it's good. But like, as he's talking to me, y'all, he's like, you like your food? You like your food? Turn off. So I was like, okay, whatever. Anyway, at this point, she's coming back and she was like, okay, did you want another drink? So at this point, y'all, and I'm fast forwarding this, somewhere in the middle of us, like him just being on his phone, he did finally get a drink. She asked me if I wanted a second one. I was thinking about getting a second one. And then, like, as I was about to say it, he was like, yeah, get her a second one. What? No, I don't want one. No, I'm cool. No, I don't want one. So I was like, no, I'm fine. And she, like, the waitress knew. Like, she was a game recognized game because she was like, yeah, girl, I wasn't going to get it. Because the way he said it was like, what you want me to get another one for? First of all, this little ass drink didn't do nothing for me. So even if I got a second one, I would still be cool. For whatever it is that you had in your mind, not happening. Not happening. So she was like, okay, I'll just bring the check. Okay, cool. She brings the check or whatever. I was like, okay, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom. He was like, okay. I go to the bathroom. I'm sitting there like, hopefully by the time I get back, he already had his fucking bags, everything ready to go. So I come back. The check is still sitting on the table. This man is on the phone. He's talking about, oh, I was waiting for you to come back from the bathroom. I'm looking at him. I'm like, oh, did you pay? He was like, no, I was waiting for you to come back from the bathroom. He was like, I had to put this last ticket in. And he was like, for the fourth quarter, I bet that they would, you know, each team would score a touchdown or something. And I'm just like, bro, like, and then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, y'all, like, we haven't talked about anything that you've done, you know, with work, what you've been doing, how you been, where you been, did you move, did you get a new car? Because I'm still on that. Like, what's up with you? Like, we're not talking about nothing, movies, music, social media. We're not talking about anything. I learned more about Travis Kelce and Mahomes and whoever was playing for the Bills and about FanDuel. Like, this man could have taught a fucking FanDuel 101 course. Like, that's really what it was. So I'm just like, So I'm like, what did you waiting for me to come back for? He was like, oh no, I was just waiting. And I'm like, okay. So she comes back and I'm sitting there looking like, nigga, I'm not paying for this. I'm not paying half of this bill. I don't care about none of that. So it wasn't a problem. He paid. And then she was like, okay, well, you know, you guys have a good night, blah, blah, blah. So we head out. Walking across the street. At this point, y'all, it's cold. You know, the car's been off. We get inside. He starts the car up. He starts, like, about to pull out of the lot. I'm like, oh, it's cold. And I was like, I'm reaching over to turn the heat on. He was like, oh, no. You cold? Oh, you should have said something. What? Said what? I'm cold? I could turn it on. Like, I don't need you. Like, I guess I don't know how to work the car, but y'all, he pulls out of the lot, y'all, right? Remember I said we were in like a gravel parking lot across the street from the restaurant. Y'all, he pulls out of the lot and he pulls like on the side of the restaurant. So here's the front, and like he pulls out of this lot and he pulls like on the side. There's a parking spot right here. On the side of the restaurant, they have a huge window. There was a family of like 5 or 6 sitting there at this window. This man pulls up right there. So granted, they see somebody pull up, they're looking down. Y'all, I don't know why I felt embarrassed already, because I'm like, what is he doing? Like, why do you have to stop the car to turn the heat on? Y'all, this man reaches behind the seat, pulls out a gallon of water, hops his ass out that car, walked in front of the car, popped his hood of the car. It is like hopping, like to look into the hood, and he's pouring the water in there. And I was like, did he have to heat up the whatever to get the whatever to work? Because again, I don't know anything about cars, but I'm like, what is this? Y'all, I glanced up. People in the window was like laughing. Y'all, I was like,
Right. I'm embarrassed.
oh, because what? I was so embarrassed. Like, and y'all, I get it. Y'all, some people be like, oh, well, Ayanna, you know, everybody has, like, you know, not everybody is fortunate. Not everybody is this. You could have fucking stayed across the street. Why did you pull up right in front of the restaurant? Like, whatever. So he pours it in there. He gets back in the car. He's like, oh, yeah, we should be good now. We should be good now. And he pops it on. He's like, we driving. He's like, I'm gonna get gas or whatever. I'm like, okay. Before I hit the road, I'm like, okay. So he pulls into this gas station like 5 minutes down the road or whatever. I'm sitting in the car. I'm calling my best friend. I'm like, bitch. I'm like, he fucking had to get out and pour the water. And I'm telling her. She's like, what? So I see him. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I hang up. He comes back in the car. He was like, oh, you ain't want nothing? I'm like, no, I'm cool. I just gotta go. He was like, okay. So we get in the car. We driving. At this point, like I said, it's like a 30-minute ride. I wish it was 10. We on the highway and we're going back. And I'm like, he was like, you want to listen to some music? And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm fine. I was like, you know, the last time I put a song on, I was accused of selling drugs and whatever else, so I'm cool. And he was like, okay, well, I got a song. I'm gonna play a song. So I'm like, okay. I'm not thinking nothing of it, y'all. I'm looking out the window like, okay. Y'all know what this man played, y'all. I'm sitting there chilling. I'm like, okay, I guess it's a break from talking about tickets, because like we didn't talk about anything else. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking out the window. Y'all, all I hear is, you're always on my mind. When you come around, I get shy when I see you. We all love that song. Men, for some reason, love that song. I don't know what's in that song. Fantasia put crack in that song for black men. They love that song. Y'all, this man is singing the song at the top of his lungs. Like, I had to slowly look over. When I see you, loud as hell in the car, like driving 10 and 2, screaming the song, smiling at me and laughing. And I get it. It could have been a vibe, but I'm already not attracted to you. You know, I'm already not feeling the situation. So no. Y'all, I have my phone. I wish I still had the screen record, but the best friend that I was talking about, me and her not friends no more. That's a story time for another day. But I couldn't find a voice message of me recording, like with my phone down on my lap, listening to him sing this song at the top of his lungs. And then he could tell that I wasn't into it. I was like, he was just like, okay. So he like turned it off. I gotta go. He's like turned it off or whatever. And yeah, he turned it off or whatever. He's like, oh, you don't like Fantasia? I was like, yeah, I like Fantasia. I'm just like not in the mood. Like, I don't know. I think the salmon sliders messed my stomach up or whatever. He was like, oh, okay, like no problem. So he just tried to have a conversation, but like at this point I wasn't even feeling it. We was like 5 minutes away from the crib. So y'all, we pull up back into the leasing the lot, and he's there. At this point I'm like, okay, let me hop out. He was like, oh, so did you have a good time? And I'm like, I was like, it was okay. Like, and y'all, the Ayanna now, I would be so more transparent and honest and blatant. But back then I was just like, he already came out here, he paid. Like, it is what it is. You feel as though that was a good date. I should have never, I had it right when I never went out with you before, and I should have just kept it like that. Y'all know this man was like, oh, okay, well, I was like, okay, yeah, well, I gotta go. And he was like, oh, but where are you going? Like, hand on my lap, like, oh, where are you going? Y'all, I wanted to throw up because I could smell the bacon on his breath. It was disgusting. You want to talk about an ick? I was like, oh, nah, boo. I was like, you ate that bacon. And he was like, that little ass bacon, like, come on. I'm like, no, I'm cool. So I was like, I texted my friend. I was like, SOS, capital letters. She called me. I was like, oh, hold on, my friend calling me. I answered the phone, like, hello? And she's yelling, oh my God, where are you at? I just got into a car accident, bitch, da-da-da-da. And she acted like she yelling at somebody back. No, bitch, da-da-da. I was like, what is going on? Lying, because all of this is a lie. This girl was at home on her couch watching Netflix. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Da-da-da. I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm coming right now. I was like, she said, what? I'm coming right now. Y'all, I got a car. I gotta go. He was like, damn, I can't get a hug. Y'all, I leaned back in, head turned this way because I didn't want to smell his stank ass breath. Gave him a hug, and I was like, yeah, I gotta go. Hopped in the car, y'all. And then I just pulled out real fast, but I made sure I went around like my entire complex, like out of the complex around twice. And then when I came back in, he was gone. I went on home, y'all, got in the house, called my best friend, and we on the phone laughing. I'm like, never again. Never again. Y'all, when he got home, he never texted me that he got home. We never texted again for like a good little while. Like I want to say like a good 2 years. And then randomly one day he like hit me up out of the blue. I was like, at this point I was with Jordan, I think, at one point, and he like randomly hit me up when we was going out to eat. And he was like, why we never went out again? Like, how you been? I was like, I've been good. He was like, why we never went out again? I was like, shorty, let me really ask you a question. I was like, name 3 things you learned about me on that entire date. And he was like, what you mean? I'm like, name 3 things you learned about me that entire date. And he was like, well, I really can't. Like, that's crazy. Like, damn, what did we talk about? I said, you talked about FanDuel the entire time. I said, you didn't learn anything about me. I didn't learn anything about you. I was not feeling that date because, like I said, as time went on, I got way more blatant. I told him what it was. And he was like, well, damn, like, we should really still try to get together one more time. Like, you know, we could try to vibe. I was like, no, like, I'm with someone now. Like, it's cool. And after that, y'all, he blocked me. And that was the end of that. So thank y'all for, tuning into the story time. Like I said, I wanted to get something recorded for y'all. And hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Tell me if I was tripping. Tell me if that's even attractive. Like, tell me if y'all even like people on their phones while y'all on a date. Like, the whole thing was just a dumpster fire from beginning to end. But anyway, like I said, I'm so glad y'all were here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in my next video. Peace.
Hi.